And I acknowledge that the Shire of Serpentine Jarrahdale is located on the traditional land of the Noongar people, and we pay our respects to the traditional owners, elders past, present and emerging. Item 1 on tonight's agenda is apologies, attendances and apologies. We have nil apologies for tonight's meeting. As part of item 1, could I please have someone move the motion that Council under clause 18.1 of the Standing Orders Local Law 2002 as amended resolves to suspend for the duration of the meeting the following clauses. Clause 3.5, public question time insofar as it relates to public statements. Clause 3.13, deputations, and clause 8.2, members to occupy own seats. Can I please have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Atwell. Can I please have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Duggan. Is there anybody opposed to this motion? Motion is carried unanimously. The conduct for tonight's electronic meeting will be as follows. The pace of the e-meeting will be slow and orderly. The following practices will help avoid confusion and support effective e-meetings. Speak clearly and slowly as connections may be distorted or delayed. Always state your name to indicate to the presiding member that you wish to speak. Restate your name if the presiding member has not heard you at first. In debate, only speak after the presiding member has acknowledged you, then state your name so that others know who is speaking. Follow the presiding member's directions and rulings. If you are unclear about what is happening in an e-meeting, immediately state your name to draw the presiding member's attention and enable you to seek clarification from the presiding member. Avoid looking for opportunities to call points of order. Instead, politely, respectfully gain the presiding member's attention and explain any deviation from your meeting procedures, the Local Government Act or any other relevant matter. Participating electronically in a meeting, whether that meeting is electronic or physical meeting, presents logistical challenges and can impact the effective conduct of the meeting. An electronic meeting is as effective as the worst connection to the meeting. In addition to the behavioural protocols described above, participants should ensure that they have a stable connection to the meeting and are able to give the meeting their full and proper attention. To ensure the best connection possible, meeting participants are requested to turn off their camera and mute their microphone when not speaking. Regaining order in the event of technical difficulties. Under clause 15.9 of the Standing Orders Local Law, the presiding member may adjourn a meeting to regain order. This provision can be used to regain order in the event of a technical difficulties. 15.9, right of the person presiding to adjourn without explanation to regain order. 1, if a meeting ceases to operate in an orderly manner, the person presiding may use discretion to adjourn the meeting for a period of up to 15 minutes without explanation for the purpose of regaining order. This action cannot be challenged by any councillor or member. Upon resumption, debate is to continue at the point at which the meeting was adjourned. If at any one meeting the person presiding has cause to further adjourn the meeting, such adjournment may be to a later time on the same day or to any other day. 2, where debate of a motion is interrupted by an adjournment under subclause 1 in the case of a council meeting, A, the name of members who have spoken in the matter prior to the adjournment are to be recorded. And B, the provisions of clause 9.5 apply when the debate is resumed. Voting. The presiding member will ask if there is any member opposed and pause. If there is no member opposed, the item is passed unanimously. Where an item has been debated, the voting method shall be by each member participating electronically being called by the presiding member in alphabetical order by surname, except for the presiding member, who is in sequence to state whether they are for or against the motion being put forward. After the councillors' votes are stated, the presiding member will also state their vote. Members in alphabetical order are Councillor Atwell, Bias, Coles, D'Agostino, Duggan, Singh, Strange, Straughtons and Rich. Item number 2 on tonight's agenda is public question time. 2.1 public questions, of which there is nil. Item 3 is public statement time, of which there is nil. Item 4 is petitions and deputations, of which there is nil. Item 5 is declaration of councillors' and officers' interest, of which there is 1. Councillor Michelle Rich declared a financial interest in item 6.1.3, request for quote RFQ 21-2021, Kernan Street pavement reconstruction, as a tendering company is a client of Councillor Michelle Rich's family business. We'll move to item 6 is receipt of reports. Item 6.1 reports. 6.1.1 viability of supply and installation of wild bird watering stations. Can I please have a mover for the motion? Councillor Coles, you happy to move?
I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Singh. Is there anybody opposed to this motion? Motion is carried unanimously. Item 6.1.2, Depot Accommodation Project Update Award Request for Tender, RFT 10-2021, Depot Office Building and Toilet Upgrade. Can I please have a mover for this motion? Thank you, Councillor Singh.
Sorry, Madam President. Can I please, not moving that, can I please proceed with option 2 with some amendments, please?
Yes, Councillor Singh. What are the amendments?
Okay, so if we can scroll down to the option 2. Sorry.
If we just get the secretary a minute to get option 2 on the screen, please. We are, thank you.
Okay, I would like to, so, sorry, does not award the contract and consider progressing project at a future time. So I want to specify the time project in the first 3 months of next financial year. So just cancel project, sorry, cancel progressing, consider progressing the project in the first 3 months of next financial year. So just cross out at a future time. financial year 2022-23. This another, I want to add some additional lines. If we can add a 0.1 in this. Retender Volga, retender by Volga E-Courts. / E-Courts. And number 2 condition, funds carried forward to financial year 22-23.
Just to help out, Councillor Singh, could I make a suggestion?
Yes, happy to
that,
change, Paul. Thanks.
That you might say that council colon and then make number 1 does not award the contract, and then number 2 and 3 as you've.
Yes, we can change that.
I don't know if the Director of Corporate Services has some suggestions on the wording of point number 3.
Yep. Yeah, so we don't want to set the budget for next year just yet. So we'll need to, for budget consideration, some wording to that effect, that the funds be
reserved or
considered in the budget deliberations for 22-23.
Okay.
So, Minute Secretary, did you get a chance to capture that? There's a rewording of point number 3. Maybe the Director of Corporate Services might just say it again.
So funds to be considered carrying forward in the 22-23 budget deliberations.
Is that what you were hoping for, Councillor Singh?
Yes, that's my intentions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Singh. Do I have a seconder for the alternate motion before us? Motion has lapsed for the want of a seconder. We'll return to the officer's recommendation. I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation. Can I have a seconder for the officer's recommendation, please?
Councillor Bias, seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Bias. Is there anybody opposed to the motion before us? Councillor Singh, you are opposed.
Yes, Madam President. Thank you.
Councillor Duggan, you're opposed as well.
No, sorry, my hand up was to second the motion and I didn't take it down, but it is down now. Apologies.
Thank you. In opening the debate, we are into the fourth quarter of this financial year. The officers have put quite a lot of work into moving forward and the upgrades that are badly needed for the depot area, and the amount of staff that we see that we now have operating out of that area. I think any of us that have been down and actually had a look at the conditions that our staff are working from in that area agree that something does need to be done and that there does need to be some upgrade of the buildings and facilities down there for the staff that occupy that area. I don't see what difference 2, maybe 3 months will make in this. I don't see that the economic climate is going to change dramatically in that time. And I think what we have before us is an effective way of moving forward and giving a little bit of stability to our staff with the understanding that we do know that the facilities aren't great there and that upgrades do need to be done. Thank you. Councillor Bias, would you like to speak or reserve?
Reserve. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Singh, would you like to speak, please?
Yes, thanks, Madam President. I can see the report. I think I'm fully convinced with the comments that you have made. The only question that I have is the concern is I know we are in the last quarter of the financial year, but as I'm a new, I think I don't know how long we have waited for this facility to be upgraded. To me, I think if we can wait 3 or 4 months more, it's not going to cause any big issues to the staff. I know we have to provide safe, and Shire has the duty of care to provide safe and adequate facilities for the staff. As per the supply chain, it's not as bad as within the last when we have those issues like contractors not submitting their quotes and all that, because there was so much work available in the market and people don't want to do contractors or companies not interested in doing small jobs, which is maybe one of that. But as you can see, the scope has changed, which we have went out to the market and we got only one supplier, which is big issue for us because we can't compare value for money. There's no other tender where we can compare the price. They might be charging us $1 thing into $100. That's why we can see the price is huge. There's a huge impact on the budget. Is roughly 479,000 more than what we have expected. To me, I think if we can delay for next 3 or 4 months, even if we can save, I'm saying just 50,000, or I'm saying 100,000, but even we can save 50,000, that's a big saving for the Shire. We can spend that money somewhere else on other projects. We have always talked about ratepayers' money in the previous meetings, and in this, I can't see any value. We're going above the budget of 479,000 just because we haven't tried the market. We have to try the market, and we have to go out to the Volga e-courts, which is pretty simple process. We have the scope. We have to upload on the website, get 2 weeks of submissions, and who knows what we don't expect. We can expect maybe 2 submissions, maybe 3. We have tried this in the last year, which is October, which is we were in a lockdown. COVID has a huge impact on the construction industry. But where we are now is we are living with COVID. So people are still working. They are in isolations, 6,000 or 7,000 cases every day. But the supply chain is getting better. So to me, I'll be more inclined towards saving ratepayers' money. It doesn't matter 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. Anything can be saved. That is a huge impact on ratepayers' money. I will encourage all the other councillors to look at what I have said, and if we can wait 3-4 months, we have waited and we can wait. So to me, I think spending this much money is not liable. I'm not saying we're not progressing. All I'm saying is let's wait for 3 or 4 months. Consider that as soon as June finishes, we have July, August, September, and things will be improved by then. And it's a simple process, and we have the scope ready. We can easily go to market and at least try another company to save Shire's money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Singh. So any councillor would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Duggan?
Thanks, Madam President. I am not convinced that 3 months will save us and change the current situation very much at all. I think we need to trust the fact that our officers have done a lot of work. So when we're talking about whether there's a comparison for tenders, I'm sure that they wouldn't have put forward option one if they felt that it wasn't going to be good value in the current climate. I also think when we're talking about trying to save $50,000, as much as what I understand every single dollar is a ratepayer's dollar, it's somewhat of a false economy if we're not creating nice and acceptable place for our staff, because if they're in surrounds which are not user friendly and are not good for them and don't make them feel welcome, we lose staff, and as we lose staff we end up losing experience, and that costs us a lot more money overall. I think after going through and seeing these facilities for myself, they are already extensively overdue and they need to be replaced in the past, let alone putting it off for any longer. So I strongly support the officer's recommendation of option one. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Duggan. Is there any councillor who would like to speak against the motion? I am happy to take this motion straight to the vote. Councillor Atwell, are you for or against the motion?
I'm for the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. Councillor Bias, are you for or against the motion?
For.
Thank you. Councillor Coles, are you for or against the motion?
For the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. Councillor D'Agostino, are you for or against the motion?
For the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. Councillor Duggan, are you for or against the motion?
For, thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Singh, are you for or against the motion?
Against. Thank you. And can I have the votes recorded, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Singh. Councillor Strange, are you for or against the motion?
For the motion, thanks, Madam President.
Thank you. Councillor Strawtons, are you for or against the motion?
For the motion, Madam President.
Thank you. My vote, I am for the motion. The motion is carried 8-1. Minute Secretary, can we please have the votes recorded? Thank you. I have declared an interest in item 6.1.3, so I will hand the meeting to the Deputy Shire President, Councillor Atwell, and leave the meeting while this item is debated. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Before we start, Councillor Atwell, can we just get Dr. Parker's confirmation that the Councillor Rich has left the meeting?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, sorry, Councillor.
That's okay.
Thank you, Presiding Member. Yes, I can confirm that Councillor Rich has left the meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Item number 6.1.3, request for quote RFQ 21-2021 Kernan Street pavement reconstruction, SJ 3739. Could I have a mover for the motion, please? I have a slight problem, Paul. I don't know who's put their hand up.
Councillor Bias, happy to move.
Councillor Bias, happy to move. Thank you, Councillor Bias. Can I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Duggan, happy to second.
Thank you for that, Councillor Duggan, because I can't see who's got their hand up. Thank you. Is there anyone opposed to the motion? The motion is therefore carried 8-0. Could we get the President back, please? Thanks, Dr. Parker.
And Councillor Atwell, you'll advise the Shire President when she comes back what the council resolved as per normal.
I will. Thank you.
Madam President has rejoined the meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Madam President, I'd like to inform you that the motion was carried unanimously 8-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Atwell. We'll move to item 6.1.4, Council consideration of a motion to be proposed by the Shire President at the Australian Local Government Association National General Assembly. I am happy to move this motion. Do I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Bias, second.
Thank you, Councillor Bias. Is there anybody opposed to this motion? Motion is carried unanimously. Move to item 6.1.5, confidential, lot 814 Millers Road, Jarrahdale, expression of interest. Can I please call for a mover for this motion?
Madam President, that's the motion to go behind closed doors.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Moved, Councillor Bias.
Thank you, Councillor Atwell. Councillor Atwell, are you happy to second?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody opposed to this motion to close the meeting? Motion is carried unanimously.